mamas, it's your Cajun stork here, Midwife Kyra. As you know, I believe in truly natural birth because I know makes for better birth experiences. Consider subscribing to my channel because I know you're going to believe in it too. Today's video is a birth story with actual birth photography in it that I know you're going to love about Jeanelle and Jonas's birth center birth after having 2 previous hospital births, and I know you're going to love it.
Hey, I'm Jeanelle Lowry.
I'm Jonas.
And this is our little one, Shepherd. He was born Wednesday, January 16th, at the birth house, 6 pounds, 6 ounces. Wonderful labor and delivery. I didn't switch over to the birth house till I was about 36 weeks. I think I was about 36 weeks along. And I finally said, okay, I just need something different. I had had 2 previous hospital births. They were just very long births, and it was hard. They were both natural, and it was just hard to labor naturally in that setting. I think I did as best as you could, but
Yeah, one of the most disappointing things is that our doctor was very understanding of wanting to have a natural birth, and he was very supportive of that. But he has his own practice, and he's really there for the birth and not much leading up to it other than to pop in and check on you. And so you have a team of nurses that are kind of herding you to the bed and putting you where they want you to go and saying, no, they kind of giggle like, oh no, you have to be on your back. Like this is how we do things. So even when your doctor says, oh look, let's, you can try to do it the way you want to, it's hard to kind of override their protocol.
you're so limited in so many areas. You can only be in control of so much. So eventually I decided I needed to go somewhere and do something different and be in control of my birth as much as I could be.
Well, the idea of the birth house at first was sort of a no-brainer, no way. She started talking about it a little bit more, and I said, okay, well, let's ask all the questions we want to ask. Let's find out as much information as we can. And all the answers we got made more sense than I ever thought they would. Yeah, I'll say that even maybe up until that morning, there was this part of me that was still a little skeptical because of the unfamiliar part of it. And also you have family members who are saying, oh, well, what, there's no hospital? What are you doing?
No doctors,
No,
some back
right.
alley thing, like.
And I think from the minute we got here and she was, on the bed having contractions, and it just made more sense, and immediately I was thinking, okay, well this is how we should do this from now on, because we want more kids. And if we had had another hospital birth, I don't know if we'd be having more kids.
No. So my first labor was 54 hours. I stayed home as long as possible. We went to the hospital, and I was only there for about 12 hours. Got there and I was 4 centimeters, so I was hugely disappointed to be home for that long and only be 4 centimeters. Labored at the hospital 12 hours. We had our baby boy. Second was 22 hours. Again, stayed home as long as possible. Contractions were 2 to 3 minutes apart. Got to the hospital. Again, I was only 4 centimeters. Hugely disappointed. And things just slow down when you get to the hospital. It took another 12 hours. And I ended up having to get Pitocin. So with this one, I was fully expecting another long labor. And I hired a doula this time too. That was something else that was different. So I started having contractions Tuesday night around 11:30 p.m. I was sleeping and just woke up to this horrible, strong contraction. But I had actually been having contractions about the 3 nights before that, but they were pretty mild. I was trying to sleep during them, not too bad. So Tuesday night, I woke up to a very strong contraction, and then they started coming every 7 to 8 minutes. So I got out of bed and I let him rest just in case this was the real deal. And I had really been wanting to get in the tub. That just eases the pain for me. But I didn't want to run the bath and wake up him and our other 2 children. So I just kept waiting for them to wake up. And around 7 or 7:30 a.m., I finally heard them start stirring. So I was like, oh, perfect. So I went and ran the bath, and then I texted my doula and Kyra, and I told them I'd been having contractions, and at this point I think they were about 5 to 6 minutes apart. And I sent a little screenshot to Kyra of my contractions, and she said they're probably still early labor, get in the tub, try to relax. And so I did that. I was trying to rest between contractions. I was exhausted. I've been up since 11. But when I got in the tub, they spaced out to like 7, 8 minutes apart, and it was just exhausting me. It was just like draining the energy for me to be in that hot water. And I just felt like, I think this is really labor. I think this is just slowing it down. So I got out, and right when I got out, they jumped to 3 or 4 minutes apart. And then at that point, I texted my doula, Jenny, and this was about 8:30, I think. And I said, hey, I think you can come now. So Jenny got there, and she said, okay, I'm gonna watch you have just a few contractions. Let me just see how you're handling it, how you're doing. So I had a couple contractions, and then she said, okay, you think you're ready to go? I think you're ready to go. We need to go, like, now. So I was thinking, okay, Jenny, like, you know I have a history of long labors. I don't think we're in that much of a hurry. And I thought, okay, if we get there and I'm only 3 or 4 centimeters, no big deal. We'll come back home. It's fine. But at this point, the contractions were quite strong, and it was getting very intense. When we left, I could no longer stand during a contraction. I had to drop down to all fours, and I was making those deep, like, tribal woman moans, like, you know, very intense. So we got in the car, and we're heading to labor. We're heading to the birth house. And at one point, one of the contractions in the car, I felt like his head was low. After one of the contractions, I like felt myself to see if his head was sticking out. Like, I could tell he was low. So we got to the birth house, and Kyra knows I have a history of long labors too. So she said, well, I just got the room ready just in case, and just to be safe. So we got in the room, and Kyra checks me, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, just please be like 3 or 4 centimeters, just at least 3 or 4. And she checks me, and then she looks up and she says, you're complete. Do whatever you want. If you want to push, push. If you don't, don't. And then I just turned to my husband like, what do I do? Someone help me. I'm so used to being at the hospital and them just telling you what to do. So I had never had that urge to push, and I really wanted to see what that was like, because I heard mom say it feels so good to push when you have that urge. So I had another 4 or 5 contractions kind of waiting for that urge, but also I was terrified to push. And Kyra knew that. I was so scared. I was just gonna wait as long as possible. And then Kyra said, okay, what if we have Jonas catch the baby? So I thought, okay, maybe this will be it. So the doula and my husband switched, and the next contraction, I just grabbed my doula's arms. I bared down with everything in me, and I pushed that baby out on that contraction. I think it was 2 pushes. He was out.
This was an incredible experience. So that was very different, you know, from a hospital birth as well.
I still had my wits about me. I was still there, so I was handed my baby, and that was it. When he handed me Shepherd, I just looked up at him and started laughing. Just the pure joy. I just started laughing that our baby's here. I never had that with my other ones. It was just such a joyous moment. Another thing that I realized, I told him the other day, after this birth, I feel much more connected to him. I didn't feel it with the other 2. I was so exhausted, and I think just a little traumatized at not having the beautiful birth that I wanted. I just almost went into a little depression or something, just being so traumatized by it. With this one, I'm still glowing from my birth. I'm still so in love with it. I still can't believe he's mine, and I just feel so much more connected to my husband through this birth. I wasn't expecting that.
it's been a much more emotionally healthy
Yes.
birth.
Oh my gosh. So wonderful.
And your birth experience should be wonderful. What do you expect from your upcoming birth experience? Leave us a message in the comments below. For more about a mom and dad's perspective about switching from a hospital to a birth center, check out these videos. I'll see you over there. Bye-bye.